Good morning, Junior 6 students. Today's lesson is a grammar lesson, present simple and present continuous. Let's start by knowing the difference between the two tenses. Now you can see two sentences on the screen. I play tennis. I am playing tennis. What's the difference? I'm sure that you noticed that the difference in grammar is the first sentence is present simple, the second sentence is present continuous. But what's the difference in meaning? Who can tell me the difference in meaning? The difference in meaning depends on the use of each tense. Now we're going to go to watch a small video or a short video about the difference between the simple tense and the continuous present. Let's watch it together. It's a scene taken from the famous movie of Rapunzel. So let's watch it together. So what is she doing now? What is this girl doing now? She's tidying her room. So I can see that she's cleaning her room right now in front of my eyes at the time of speaking. So I'm asking if she does this every day or no. So I use the present simple to know if this is her habit or no. She is combing her hair right now, so I can see this action happening in front of my eyes. So I use the present continuous. So I want to ask if this is her habit every day, so I use the present simple by asking, does she do this or does she comb her hair every day? So now we have seen two different tenses used in two different situations. Let's get back to the explanation. Now I want to know the exact differences between each tense. Now you can see a time table differentiating between the two tenses. Let's start by the present simple. If you can see, we use the present simple with things that are always true, or in other words, facts, like water boils at 100 degrees. So this fact will never change. Water will not boil unless the temperature is 100 degrees. Let's look at the second column, present continuous. We use it with things that are happening at the moment of speaking, like the water is boiling now. So I'm in the kitchen watching the boiler, or I'm watching the water boils right now. The water is boiling now, so you can put it in the pasta. So this action is temporary, it's happening right now. But when I'm talking about the general truth of the water boils at which degree, I use the present simple. So this is the first use. Simple present used with facts, things that never change. And with the present continuous, I use it with things that are temporary or happens at the moment of speaking. Let's go to the second use. We use the present simple with permanent situations. Permanent means not temporary. Permanent means for a long time or nearly permanent, true for a few years at least. So let's read this example. Julie lives in London. So I understand by this sentence that Julie lives in London now and in the future, at least for the coming few years. So that's her place of residence. She lives in it all the time. Let's look at the other column. Present continuous used with temporary situations. Temporary is the opposite of permanent. So let's look at the example. Julie is living in Paris for a few months. So I understand that that's her temporary house. She doesn't live in it all the year, but she's living only there for few months. So she's going there for a holiday or she's doing a course or something. So usually she lives in London, but now she lives in Paris for a few months. Here we have like something to notice. We use the continuous with situations that are slowly changing. Like I'm getting better and better at speaking English. So that's a learning experience. So every day you get better. For example, the population of Egypt, for example. So every day the population is increasing. This happens and changes slowly by the time. Let's go to the third use or the third difference. We use the simple present with habits or things we regularly do or we do regularly. Like I drink coffee every morning. So that's my habit. I wake up in the morning, I drink coffee. But if I'm having this as a temporary action or it's a new habit to me, so like I'm drinking too much coffee these days because I'm so busy at work. So regularly I don't drink coffee, but I drink it these days because I suffer from headaches or I'm busy these days. We use it with another thing, annoying habits, and this thing we're going to get back to it in the following lessons because it's very important, which is annoying habits. What is an annoying habit? Annoying habit is something I do but it's bad, it's not interesting thing, but I do it. And we use it with always, like my flatmate is always leaving the kitchen in a mess. Some students will tell me miss always is used with present simple because it like shows that something happens regularly. But I'm telling you, this is an exception. Always is a frequency adverb used when we want to talk about a habit that is so annoying to others, or to myself at least. So I can say, my friend is leaving the room in a mess every day, or the kitchen in a mess every day. Does this thing make me happy? Of course, no. So always used with the present continuous when I want to deliver the meaning of annoyance to someone. For example, I have a baby and he cries at night. Of course, crying will not make me happy, so I want to say that habit is so annoying. So I'll say my baby is always crying at night. Okay, remember this. I'll get back to it inshallah in the following lesson. Let's go to the fourth difference. We use the simple present with future. Future? Yes, future. Future events which are part of a timetable, like traveling, uh, like my plane leaves at 8 tonight. Tonight is a future time, but I use the simple present. Why? Because it's a timetable. Because I traveled, I go to the airport because I traveled or I didn't travel, I go to the airport or I don't go to the airport, the plane will leave at 8 tonight with me or without me. So that's a schedule or a timetable of the airport. So I use the present simple, even though we're talking about future actions. To talk about the future after certain words like when, until, after, before, as soon as, I will call you when I get home. This use, we're going to go into details with the time for it. Let's go to the present continuous. We use it with future plans, but they are definite. I'm sure they are going to happen. Like I'm meeting John after class today. I called John, I arranged this meeting with him, so I'm sure of this plan, so I'm going to use the present continuous. But here in the present simple, it's a timetable, like the airport schedules, the school schedules, the club schedules. Okay, so let's go to the last difference. Present simple is used when we want to talk about what happens in books, plays, and films, or we can add here sports comments or commentaries. At the end of the book, the detective catches the killer. And now Mohamed Salah scores a goal. So even though they happen right now, but they are part of a movie, of a match, of a play, or a book, I use the simple present. In the present continuous, we use it to talk about people in pictures and photos. I have a picture in front of me in a book or on the wall or wherever. I use the present continuous to describe what's happening in this picture. So I can see a photo of my family. So I will say, in this photo, my mother is walking beside the lake, even though this action finished a long time ago. But I see it in front of me on the wall or in my hand or even on the mobile. Now we have like digital photos. So we describe it using the present continuous. So now I covered all the uses of the present simple and the present continuous, and we understand the difference between each tense. Here at the end of the page that you can see in front of you, we use the present simple with the stative verbs. We can't use any continuous tense with stative verbs. Remember, stative verbs is another lesson we're going to look at. Inshallah, it's the following lesson in the grammar. So now we only focus on the difference between the simple present and the continuous present by looking at the difference in uses. Okay, now we are going to go to some examples with the form of each tense. Okay, let's look at some examples of the present simple. As you can see, Tom goes fishing every week. What is the verb in this sentence? I can see goes. So goes is a verb that has es at the end, and it's a present simple tense. Another example, I usually work until 2 p.m. So the verb is work, has nothing at the end, no difference between the main verb and the verb in the present simple in here. The third example, my family comes to visit me every year. The verb is uh, like the verb has s at the end. Okay, so I have three sentences. They are in the present simple, and we use some words that help us to know that this sentence is in the present simple, like adverbs of frequency or frequency adverbs. These adverbs are commonly, not all the time, used with simple present. What are they? I have always, I have never, usually, rarely, sometimes, often, hardly, and etc. We have many of them in your grammar booklet. Okay, more examples. My family lives far away. Jack doesn't work on Saturday. Beth and Ton work at the ECC. It's a place or a company. Okay. The earth is round. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. The Eiffel Tower is in Paris. Okay, let's go to the present continuous examples. Where is Tom? He's playing soccer. Don't bother the kids. They are doing their homework. These actions are happening now or close to the time of speaking. Let's go to some temporary situations. Martha and her husband are traveling around Europe for 2 weeks. Lisa is living with friends until she finds an apartment. So these two actions are temporary, not permanent. Um, we often use the present continuous when action continues over a period of time, like this week, this semester, this year. Like I'm working 50 hours this week. So other weeks, I'm not working the 50 hours. That's a temporary situation. She's taking an Italian class this semester, but the coming semester she's not taking the Italian course. This year I'm trying to cut back on junk food. So this year only I'm trying to cut back on junk food. Maybe I'll get back to this my bad habit next year. Okay. The form of the two tenses or the structure of the two tenses. Here are some reminders about how to make the simple present and present continuous. Let's look at them. Simple present. Simple present has two forms, like any other tense. Each tense is either negative or positive or interrogative, which is a question form. Simple present, I have two things to consider. When I'm talking about singular pronouns and when I'm talking about plural pronouns. So let's start when I have personal pronouns as I, you, we, and they, or any plural subject like the children, the classes, the students. My verb is work. So the verb has nothing at the end, has no extra letters at the end. So I work every day, you work every day, we work every day, they work every day. What about the third person singular? Or when the subject pronoun is singular? He, she, it, John, Mike, Lisa. So he works, she works, it works. I added s at the end of the verb. And I have other endings. If you remember, I have s or es or I, es. Okay. What is the negative of the present simple? I have two ways to make the negative. If I'm talking about the singular pronouns or I'm talking about the uh, plural pronouns. Simple present negative is used or is expressed by doesn't and don't. So I don't work on Fridays. She doesn't work on Fridays. But let's remember that after don't and doesn't, my verb is simple form, is in the base form, has no letters added at the end. If you remember that we usually say that doesn't is a helping verb that is always hungry. Why it's always hungry? Because it eats the ending of the verb. So if the verb has s, it eats it. If the verb has es, it eats it. If the verb has es, it eats it. So after doesn't, the verb as it is. And after don't already, don't, the verb has nothing at the end, so the verb is as it is too. Okay. Let's have the examples here. Sarah works on Sunday. That's a positive form. Sarah doesn't work on Sunday. That's a negative form. So when I use Sarah in the positive form, I added s at the verb. In the negative, I use doesn't and I remove the s at the end of the verb. Let's look at another example. They have a big house. Okay, positive sentence in the present simple. If I want to make it a negative, I'll add don't plus a verb in the base form. They have a big house. They don't have a big house. Another sentence, Sam takes classes at night. Sam doesn't take, with no S, classes at night. I have a lot of free time. I don't have a lot of free time. Okay. What about the present continuous? The present continuous, if you remember the butterfly that you used to listen to from the teachers, the present simple is used or is formed by verb to be, a verb, and an ing. So I have three main components of the present continuous: verb to be, am, is, or are, and a verb plus an ing. So I am learning. You are learning. He is learning. So that's how I form the present continuous. Let's look at the example. Everyone is studying hard. Everyone is studying hard. So now I made my sentence correctly. I used verb to be. Everyone takes is. I used the verb study and I added ing to it at the end. So everyone is studying hard. Excellent. That's an excellent sentence. The second one, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary today. With they, I take are as verb to be. Celebrate is a verb, and then I added ing. If you notice, celebrate ends in e, but I removed the e and added ing. We're familiar with these editings to the verb. I'm cleaning my house this week. So I take am, clean is a verb, is added at the end. Okay, very easy. What's the negative of the present continuous? We use the negative of the simple with using don't and doesn't. With present continuous, we are using not only to verb to be. So I am not, he is not, we are not. So they are working today. Negative, they are not working today or they aren't working today if you're using short form. She's taking a math class. She's not taking a math class or she's isn't taking a math class. So easy. Okay. Now we understood the difference in meaning between the two tenses and we understood the two different forms of each. We add what and we remove what. Now let's have some practice uh, to make sure that we understand all what I said now. We have some exercises in the booklet. We're going to go to it in a different video, inshallah. Let's look at these first. Now you're having two options. You're going to use simple present or present continuous. Number one, on Tuesdays, I go to the gym. This sentence has verb go. I have to modify it or I have to correct it according to the meaning of the sentence. Let's look at any helping word that will help me. On Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, I do this habit, which is going to the gym. So I will use the simple present or continuous. Of course, I will use the present simple because on Tuesdays is a helping word that tells me that this sentence is using the simple present. So my answer will be, I go to the gym. Excellent. So on Tuesdays, I go to the gym. Karen paint her apartment when this week. So this week, she's doing this action. Will she paint the room forever? No, it's a temporary action. So of course, the sentence will be in the present continuous. So Karen, is painting her apartment this week. Okay. This room very large. Verb 3, so easy for me. This room is very large. Okay, so you have here 8 sentences, and in the following slide, you have the answers of each sentence with like some explanations between brackets. Like on Tuesdays, I go to the gym. We explain this. Karen is painting her room this week. We explain this. The room is very large. It's a fact. It never changes. So we use the simple present. And you can go through the rest of the sentences or the questions. Okay. By now, I have finished explaining the difference in meaning and in use between the present simple and the present continuous. I hope that you understood most of what I said because we're going to have further discussion in the following videos, inshallah. That's all for today. I hope that you understood the lesson. Thank you very much, Junior 6 students, and goodbye.